Now, let's go to the next big controversial thing. I literally said, I got a piece of sandpaper on my sanding pole that's been there for 2 years. Oh my God, man. It's like, really? My point to the matter is that I have a piece of sandpaper on here. Look at this thing. This thing is worn out. Essentially, this is probably 500 grit at this point in time. I don't know. It was 300 when I started. I've had it on here for a while. There's nothing to it. There's nothing here. Look, it's worn out. I didn't just make it up. It's like, 2 years. All right, sorry. Maybe 6 months it was. I don't know. It's a very light piece of sandpaper. Here's another component that all us professionals use, a sanding sponge. Look at this sanding sponge. Look at it. This thing is worn out. There's nothing to it. The point that I'm trying to drive home is that there's no need to go in with a belt sander, 80 grit sandpaper, and sand the crap out of everything if you follow the process correctly. Okay? You have to make it easier on yourself. If you want to get in there and sand the piss out of everything with 80 grit until your fingernails bleed, your house is destroyed, you need a mask, you need a suit, like you're going to collect honey from a beehive, go ahead, do it. I'm telling you it's not necessary. Follow the process, understand the process, understand the why. This is why I tell you guys these things. It's not necessary, okay? If you follow the process and do what I've shown you. In the time that I've been blabbering and I struck these pockmarks, this is already dry. Look, it's dry. It's all dry. Same thing here. You can actually see the pockmarks that I filled, okay? You can see it. This one's still drying, right? Point of the matter is that if you do that, we got a better chance of being successful for a third and final coat. Here's that piece of sandpaper that's worn out that I've had on here forever. If you want to put a mask on, please, I recommend putting a mask on. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're sanding the ceilings, doing a quick brush down, wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. It's going to be much more difficult for me to speak if I do wear a mask, and I'm not going to sand that much, as you're going to see, okay? Again, I put 3 coats on everything, reiterated that in the beginning. This is why I put 3 coats on everything. I would rather put another coat on my corners and caps than sand the shit out of everything and destroy someone's home, okay? Sanding technique. This is a sanding pole. If you feel more comfortable, this is a hand sander. This works for just your seams. You could do that too. Again, look at this piece of sandpaper on here. There's nothing to it. Let me also say, the compound that I use is very soft. It does sand very, very easily. So with that being said, I would highly recommend, if you do feel the need to sand the crap out of it, please don't use anything more than a 280, 300 grit, okay? And for the people who have never used sandpaper before, the higher the grit, the smoother the paper. So if it's 80 grit, that's very, very coarse, okay? 300 grit is very, very fine. I want you to stay with the fine sandpaper, right? I also want to make sure that everyone who is doing this for the first time realizes we want to keep our sandpaper on the compound, okay? We don't want to veer off onto raw sheetrock, all right? Once we scuff that raw sheetrock up, that comes through on the paint, on the primer and the paint. You'll never fix that unless you skim coat it. We have to look out for the painter. The painter doesn't want to come onto a job that had 2 coats on it and somebody just went and sanded the piss out of all of the sheetrock, and now the hairs on all of the sheetrock is standing up. The painter's not going to be able to do his job. He's going to call me up and say, hey, listen, your guy sanded the shit out of it. Be very conscientious to not let the sandpaper veer off of the compound onto the sheetrock. It's very important. It raises the hairs. That being said, I'm going to use my sanding pole. This thing's like 50 years old. We're going to start here on our seams, all right? I have found what works for me. If you turn it this way, it's easier to sand, okay? If you hold your pole this way and you sand, the pole will have a tendency to flip, okay? We turn it this way, all right? I'm going to do some real-time sanding because it's hard to sand slow, all right? Remember, if we followed the process for the first and second coat, this process is very simple. It doesn't have to be that hard, okay? All we're really doing is taking the slight edges that I left here off and knocking it down slightly so we can apply our third coat. That's it. No. Snowstorm. Look, just that little bit. Look what it did. Could you imagine sanding this with 80 grit and taking it down? Oh my God, it just makes me sick to my stomach. I can't even handle it right now. What am I looking for? Anyway, that's what I was looking for. I want to also show you this. This is a 12-inch knife. This is what we're going to be polishing with. We could put this knife right on this seam. This seam is flat, okay? That was our goal from the beginning. Follow the process. We saw the recess. Now it's flat. What did I tell you guys in the beginning? Flat and smooth. Remember? Come on. Let's go. Gotta have a little fun, right? These are all flat. They're flat. And I could tell my knife, it's got a little bit of a wear in it, but not much, where it's going to crown and you're going to see it. Okay. I'm sure there's a little bit of a rock there, but we can knock that down with the sandpaper. I'm just giving you guys an idea. Even the cross butts are flat, all right? That's our goal, flat and smooth. Let's go ahead and sand this out, okay? You're gonna brush this down. If you notice how my sand, I like it like this, and I like it like this. Gives me a little bit more control. I don't like it like that. It has a tendency to flip, okay? So we're gonna do a little bit of slight angle. It's okay on the pole here, up, down, right? Remember not to hit the sheetrock. Stay within the boundaries of the compound, okay? Cross butt, same thing, look at the angle, okay? Remember, I filled this earlier when we first started talking. It's all dry. Pockmarks are filled. Now we're essentially just sanding them out. Okay? Very light. Look at the dust. It's very light. This compound is soft. Let's just go ahead and follow through. And I'm going to sand my corner bead out. See the angle on my pole? Makes it a lot easier. Okay, here's some areas right here I'm noticing that I didn't fill with the pockmark. I didn't fill the pockmarks. There's pockmarks there. How do you get those out? You sand them out. What happens when you sand them out? If you don't sand them all the way out, the holes fill with dust. You have to take a damp cloth and get the dust out of there, otherwise your next coat will not stick in there, okay? We'll get a little bit extra, we'll sand those out. They're not crazy. You see it? Did you see the wall move? Did you see it move? This is a set in my garage. Some guy says, you've been working on the same room for 2 years. How do you make money? Really? Do I gotta answer that? This is a set in my garage that I built for teaching purposes. Come on, man. We're not that dumb. Or are we? Oh, this guy is unbelievable. Don't get me started, Anthony. I told you I was trying to stay calm today. Okay. Here, we're going to sand this a little bit on this side. All right? Again, we sanded the cross butt nice and flat. But we didn't sand this cross butt up and down. Again, angle. Okay? You want to check to make sure, get your knife. This is a 12-inch knife. Check it. Make sure it's not rocking. Oh, look, I got a little bit of a rock there. Okay? It happens. It's not that bad, though. I'm okay with that. What we do here is, now we're going to do a little bit extra sanding on the cross butt to flatten it out. Okay? I'm going to go right down the center. All right? Go a few more times. Again, look at the dust. We're not taking that much off. Very soft. You can check it again. Look at that. That fixed it right up. It's got a little bit of a rock up there, but we're going to fix that on the polish coat too. Don't forget, we're putting another coat on this. Excuse me, I'm wiping my nose on camera. You'll have to edit that. Here's something else, a little tip, a little trick. If you do find yourself sanding a little excessively and you do hit the tape from the first coat, stop immediately. Just stop. You've sanded enough. It's over. You're back down to the first coat. What I want you to do at that point, stop sanding immediately, identify where the tape is showing, go back to your compound, get some compound on, put it in your pan, and strike that area where the tape is. Just put it on and take it off. It's going to be fine. It'll still bury. You won't see it. If you have to do it twice, do it twice. All right? Don't panic. It's not the end of the world. So if you see the tape, rule of thumb, stop sanding immediately. Hopefully I'm making sense. We making sense? We're making sense. All right, let's go to this high seam on the ceiling. Remember, we filled these pockmarks earlier. Left some pockmarks, we filled them. They're dry. They're all dry. We could sand right over them. What happens to the last coat? You put it on, take it off. Dries very quickly. Let's sand. Right? Look at the angle. Same thing on the ceiling. I like to do it this way. Don't stand under it with your mouth open. Breathing it in. Step aside. You got your mask on, remember. Right? That's it. That's all we want to sand. We check it. You will get very used to what's flat. You won't have to check every seam like I'm showing you. But in the beginning, I'm going to want you to check every seam to make sure, sorry, I'm wiping my nose. I got a little cold. To make sure it's flat. We're flat. We're flat all the way. You're not going to sand. After you do this, repetition, 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 you get used to everything. You're not going to check every seam after you sand. You're just going to go through, you're going to understand the process, and you're just going to sand it out really, really quickly. Prepare yourself for the third and final coat. Here's our single cross butt on the ceiling. That's it. You can run your hand over it and actually see if it's flat as well, if you like that better. Remember in the beginning we did that, okay? Now for the controversial caps and corners. Some guy was just like, the internals. All right, gives a shit. The internals. Sounds too much to me like Internal Revenue Service. Internal, like, I don't want to say that. Like, nobody wants to say internals. It sounds weird, man. But if it's good for you, good for you. Okay. I showed folks how to coat two sides at one time. This is how you sand. This is how I sand, okay? I always start on the bottom. We do not want to stick our sanding pole up into the ceiling. We don't want that. We want to come about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the ceiling, vice versa, all right? All we're doing is we're just knocking it down a little bit. We turn our sanding pole, and we do the same thing on the corners. I'm hardly putting any pressure on them. I'm just letting the sanding pole do the work, okay? We're not in there. We're not out here. We're right in the middle, all right? Now maybe we're starting to understand why we don't do 6 inches on the second coat. We flare everything out, right? Especially on the caps and corners, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that does, so we might have to just take that out. But same thing in up and down. Keep that sandpaper within the compound, okay? A couple of times. On the bottom, continue. All right? I don't mind that. We took some of the edge off. That's all we're doing. We took some of the edge off. Now we're going to go back and we're going to sand the top real quick. Okay? Again, I'm so used to not putting my sanding pole in there. It's just habit for me, which it will become habit for you too if you continue with this particular process. You'll just know that that's how you do it. And it only comes from repetition. You're not going to do it on the first time, second time, third time, 10 times, 20 times. It's going to take a while. Just like anything else. Remember riding a bike when you were a kid? You fell a lot. You don't fall no more though. That's the point. All right, we're sanding. I got a little bit of an edge here. I understand that my third coat is going to bury that. I'm okay with that, right? Same thing. Get that sanding pole flat. Hit it. Don't dig in there. Just remember, if you do go in there with the sanding pole, and you run, you will create a groove in there. That's not what we want, okay? We already created the separation between the walls and the ceilings. You don't want to put another groove in there. That's just more work for us to fix, okay? And that will show up on the paint. Sand the top. There you have it. This room I've been working on for 2 years is now sanded. And it only took us about, what, 4 minutes? Look at the dust. There's not much dust. You're going to create a little bit of dust. The idea is to minimize the dust, right? And the way you minimize the dust is that you follow the process on the first and second coat. You get it to a point where you can be successful and do it correctly, okay?